You know that feeling, right? That sudden jolt of anxiety, your heart starts racing and you're not even sure why? Well, that's your brain's internal fire alarm, a little thing called the amygdala, going off. So today, we're going to dive into what makes that alarm so sensitive, and way more importantly, we'll explore 11 super practical, science-backed ways to help you tame it.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start by really understanding your brain's fire alarm. Then, we're going to open up a whole toolkit of strategies for your mind, for your body, and even for your environment. And finally, we'll pull it all together and map out your own personal path to calm.
All right, first up, let's get to know the source of all that internal noise. What is actually going on inside our heads when we feel that stress and anxiety bubble up?
Okay, I want you to just imagine this for a second. You are jolted awake by a blaring alarm. Your heart is pounding, your muscles are tense, but you don't smell any smoke. Still, your body is already in full-blown panic mode. This is the perfect way to think about what your amygdala does. It's this ancient, little almond-shaped part of your brain designed to sniff out threats and kickstart your body's survival response.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Think of it like a constant negotiation between two parts of your brain. You've got the thinker, that's your rational prefrontal cortex, and you've got the alarm, your emotional amygdala. Now, in a healthy, calm brain, the thinker is in charge. It can look at a situation and say, hey, alarm, relax. It's just the mailman, not a saber-toothed tiger. Stand down. But when we're dealing with a lot of stress, that connection gets weak. The thinker loses its authority, and suddenly the alarm starts running the whole show.
So how can you tell if your alarm is maybe working a little bit of overtime? Do any of these sound familiar to you? Maybe being extra jumpy, or having a really big reaction to something small, or just finding it impossible to wind down after a stressful day. Look, this is not some kind of personal failure. It's just a sign that the communication line between your thinker and your alarm needs a little bit of repair work.
And that right there brings us to the really good news. We can actively repair and strengthen that connection. So let's start with the tools you can use for your mind.
Okay, here are 3 really powerful strategies for your brain. First up, and this one might surprise you, is mild stress. It sounds weird, right? But just like lifting weights builds muscle, successfully getting through small challenges actually builds up your brain's resilience, which makes it less reactive when bigger stuff comes along. Second, cognitive tasks. Giving your brain a tricky puzzle to solve literally pulls energy and resources away from the panicking amygdala. And third, something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which is basically a training program to help you spot, challenge, and rewire the automatic thought patterns that keep triggering your alarm.
And this is a perfect example of how simple a cognitive task can be. Seriously, the next time you feel that wave of anxiety creeping in, try this. First, just acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling anxious. Then, immediately give your thinker a job to do. Counting backward from 100 by sevens is a classic for a reason. It is really hard to stay in a panic when your brain is busy going 93, 86, 79, you get the picture. But look, taming the alarm isn't just some mind game. Your body is an incredibly powerful lever for changing what's happening in your brain. So let's look at some of those physiological strategies next.
We're going to unpack 4 huge ones here. First, just moving your body. It has an almost immediate effect on your brain's control circuits. Second, your breath, specifically long, slow exhales, which activate your body's built-in relaxation response. Third, getting quality sleep, which is like essential nightly maintenance for your emotions. And fourth, being mindful about what you're putting in your body, because some things can directly poke that alarm button. Every single one of these directly impacts your brain chemistry.
And get this finding is incredible. You do not need to run a marathon. Just 12 minutes of moving your body, walking, running, whatever, can immediately beef up that crucial connection between your thinker and your alarm. It has a direct anxiety-busting effect. The big takeaway here? A short walk might just be the fastest way to get your thinker back in the driver's seat.
Now, on the flip side of that, sleep is absolutely non-negotiable. Losing even a couple of hours does the exact opposite of that walk. It weakens that connection, which leaves your amygdala way more reactive. That's why you feel so much more irritable and frustrated the next day. Seriously, making sleep a priority is one of the most fundamental things you can do for your emotional well-being.
And yeah, what we eat and drink, it matters. A lot. Caffeine can directly fire up the amygdala, especially if you're already stressed. And alcohol, well, it might feel like it's calming you down, but what it's actually doing is weakening the connection to your prefrontal cortex, your thinker. That makes it harder for you to manage your emotions in the long run. So cutting back on both can be a total game changer for some people.
Okay,
So we've covered the mind and the body. Now let's look outward, because your environment plays a massive role in either setting off your alarm or helping you keep it nice and quiet. There are 3 incredible environmental tools you can use. First, getting out in nature, which has a measurable calming effect on the brain. Second, getting some daylight, which helps regulate the key chemicals that influence your mood. And third, leaning on your friends, your family, your social support network. Just talking through what's stressing you out helps engage your thinker and quiet down that alarm. These aren't just nice ideas. They are all evidence-based ways to regulate your nervous system.
I absolutely love this German study. It shows a direct, measurable, calming effect on the amygdala just from being in nature. An hour in a forest literally quieted the brain's fear center in a way that walking on a busy city street just didn't. Your brain knows the difference between a calm place and a chaotic one.
And this is a big reason why that morning walk in the park is so powerful. Getting daylight, especially in the morning, boosts serotonin activity. You can think of serotonin as a kind of lubricant for the communication line between your thinker and your alarm. It just makes that connection stronger, smoother, and more efficient.
So, after going through all of these tools for the mind, the body, and the environment, what's the big picture here? How do we put all these pieces together to create a real, sustainable path to calm?
Here's what I really want you to take away from all this. You are not just a passenger here. You are not at the mercy of your brain's alarm system. Through small, consistent choices, a short walk, a good night's sleep, a call with a friend, a moment in the sun, you are actively retraining your brain. You are strengthening the part of you that is rational, calm, and in control.
The real power isn't in knowing all 11 of these strategies, right? It's in choosing just one to start with. So my question to you is, what is the one small step you will take today, maybe even right now, to start taming your alarm?